Welcome to the CraftsWombman channel.
Welcome, everybody, to the Womb Wellness Call this Wednesday. Today we have on the line Nubia Sutton. I know you probably don't go by that anymore, but I always wanted to say that.
I don't mind it. I love it. Thank you. You can stay with that. Oh, Nubia Sutton is perfect. No problem.
Okay, but I used to love your videos, Nubia the Raw Food Goddess. So I just wanted to say that because I was following your videos for a while when you were in New York. So I'm not too familiar with the relocation in California. I still was looking at your videos faithfully. Oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan, and I found you on social media again. So I'm so excited to have you on the line. You can hold on one second. And your statement is "Healing is my life," and you said it's not just a slogan, but it is a reality. Nubia is the founder and creator of the Blackberry Beauty Academy. She's also a client, started the program to heal herself of reoccurring womb issues that the doctor just could not seem to rid. And you state, I noticed that after particularly stressful times in my life, birth of a child, divorce, new relationships, unfulfilling jobs, etc., I would experience womb abnormalities like chronic indigestion, heart palpitations, abnormal pap smears, menstrual problems, reoccurring yeast infections, heavy bleeding, and other embarrassing womb issues. I would constantly see the doctor, who usually gave me drugs or said that there was nothing short of antibiotics that he could give me to help my situation. I left feeling frustrated and confused, which in turn made my health deteriorate. I began to get frustrated, but out of this frustration, I decided to be proactive and take my healing into my own hands. I immediately changed my diet, becoming a vegetarian, and later an organic, vegan, raw foodist. I started to meditate, which I learned from healing classes in my community. I started to feel better, but still my issues were not yet resolved. In fact, it wasn't until I realized that there was a mind-body connection to my healing and that my thoughts had a lot to do with my health issues. I decided to explore this notion, studying under spiritual masters that I saw vibrate the kind of health I desired. What I discovered after more than 20 years on this joyous journey was that the doctors couldn't help me any better than I was willing to help myself. And we have Sister Nubia, the Raw Food Goddess, on the line. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. My name is Abana, CraftsWombman. And I have been working with women for a while now, and I'm seeing that a lot of women have a lot of womb issues. So I started these womb wellness workshops live in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. And a lot of people wanted me to do the webinars and the online thing and all this type of things. So I didn't want to have the cameras in there. So instead I started to do these womb wellness calls. So today I wanted to give people an opportunity to listen to other healers, other specialists in the womb wellness area to help people overcome a lot of the issues that they have that they may not even tell anybody about. Can you just tell me how you even got on this health, womb wellness area interest? I know that, we've stated that you had your own issues and you started to heal yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got on this womb journey?
Sure. You know what they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Hold on one second. I'm about to say a lot. Okay. So they say when when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I believe that is true. I believe that most of us come to womb healing usually through some type of crisis, whether we know it or not. I'm going to say it again. I believe that most of us come to this womb journey through a crisis, whether we know it or not. So many of us are dealing with life's ups and downs. And we think that that's all that they are because everybody around us is dealing with it. And when I say dealing, I really mean dealing. They're not solving it. They're not healing it. They're dealing with it. They're coping with it. Because that's what we learn. I truly believe, yes, that as Africans in America and going through this enslavement Holocaust, what those will call it slavery, we learn to endure. We learn to push down. We learn to deal. We learn to strive and not thrive. We learn to make something out of nothing. And although those are what admirable maybe characteristics for survival, they're not very admirable characteristics for thriving, for a full and healthy life. And so what I've realized was, so mine showed up as you read from my website, showed up as chronic yeast infection, showed up as vaginosis, bacterial vaginosis or vaginitis, and eventually fibroid tumors. Because, see, what the universe will do is they will continue to send you negative relationships that result in disease. They will continue to send you deteriorating health until eventually they'll send you something that you're going to have to look at because it's affecting your mobility. It's affecting your ability to procreate, which we're talking about fibroid tumors. It's affecting your ability to even just look real cute in a nice little outfit. You can't wear it anymore, you know. Yeah. All these things. And, you know, for women, sometimes it's the physical ailments or the physical debilitations that get our attention. Sometimes it's the spiritual feeling like, what is my divine purpose? I'm just existing. I go to work every day, but I hate my life. You know, sometimes it's the mental. I don't have mental clarity. I'm always stressed out. So this is why I said it's a crisis whether we know it or not, because usually we just get over it. We take that aspirin or we go to the doctor and we have that procedure or we go, but we never deal with it. So I know your question was, and I believe your question was, when did I start saying that all these things, the chronic yeast infections, the vaginitis, the broken relationships, the never getting what I want, the being unhappy, the depression, when did I finally realize that all of that meant that I was broken, right, and that I needed some healing? When I realized that, for me, it was when I had my first abortion. Mm-hmm. And then I had my second abortion. And that's when I said, what are you going to do, Nubia? Are you going to have a third one? When do you look at your life and ask yourself, how did you get here? So for me, it was the ultimate crisis. Was, in a sense, I didn't have the ultimate crisis is when we're a threat of losing our lives, our life. I didn't lose mine. I let go of two others, and that could wake you up as well. So for me, that's kind of my journey on how I decided to do something about it.
And one thing I do like about you, because I was watching your videos faithfully. I mean, you were my TV. One thing is that you were honest about your womb issue. And you said you needed to beef it up. Well, not beef it up, veg it up. But really, really, I guess go into a deeper healing. And that's one thing as we go through our own health challenges and things like that and don't want to tell anybody or sweep it under the rug and all this type of things. But I liked how you were honest. And even though you had all this knowledge and you were vegan, but you still started to explore, some deeper options into healing yourself. Okay, so one question I do want to ask you, what if someone goes to the gynecologist and get a pap smear? What, depending on, it could be anything, what do you think that they should do? I mean, right. I don't know if I'm asking that right.
Well, ask me again. So let me make sure I have you right. So you're saying if a woman is going for, let's say, her annual pap smear, right?
Yes.
Is something she can do to prepare for the pap smear, or tell me what
she's got an abnormal result. I'll just say for an example, a person told me that they said she had precancerous. She's precancerous. So,
wow.
I mean, what would be the option to do?
Yes, I think it's a great question. First thing I think is that don't panic. I mean, it's because let me say why I say no matter what diagnosis that you get from the doctor, it's really from a limited knowledge. It's a one-size-fit-all way of even diagnosing, and you as a melanated African person, you don't even read the same way with their tests that are really created for European or European males, if anything, and European women. So first of all, don't take it seriously. Don't panic. Now the other thing though is take it as a wake-up call, because you knew when you walked in that you probably something wasn't going to be right. That's why you're not just going, most women, for their annual checkup. Most of us are going hoping that we don't have something. Why would we go in thinking that? Because we know we're living a lifestyle that was kind of broken, like I was. So when I got the diagnosis, I went in wanting to see what I did have because I knew something wasn't right. But the good news, and there is some good news, the good news is that no matter what name they call it, because this is important, right, this is what I'm about to say, they can call it precancerous, they can call it cancer, they can call it AIDS, they can call it herpes, they can call it whatever they want. It all comes from one place, and you have the power, and the place is within you. And when you heal you, that goes away. It is just the external result of what you're thinking, feeling, and believing every day. That's all disease is. It's the external result of what you're thinking, feeling, and believing within. The moment you stop thinking and feeling and believing in something different, that goes away. Now, how can you do it? Know that this was your wake-up call, as I said before, so now you go and do the things that you know will help to heal anything. You start with the body, because that's what you can control. Sometimes it's hard to control the negative thoughts that come in and out of our mind when we sit still enough to listen. Sometimes it's hard to control the spiritual part of being dedicated to getting up each morning and talking to spirit. But one thing we can control usually is what we can see. We can see our body, therefore we can change it. And I started doing that with fasting, changing my diet from a meat-filled diet to a vegetarian first, then vegan, eventually raw, and also meditation, yoga, spirituality. What you don't want to do is start listening to the doctors tell you, this is so serious, we have to do something right away. No, you created it, therefore you can heal it. And there's urgency in you healing. The urgency comes with you getting on the healing thyself in order to not have to go to him so he can cut it out, drug it out, or something else. I mean, there are cases where you'll need to get that kind of emergency attention, but you created it, therefore you can release it and let it go. So those are some of the things that I would start doing right away. Don't panic, number one. Number two, understand that no matter what they call it, you can heal it. And once you change your thinking, your feelings, and what you believe, and then change your diet, your mind and your spirit, you'll be on the road to good health for sure.
Okay, and I also see that you incorporate a lot of sea salt baths. Is that what it is? Are you going to like a regular spa? Are we creating a spa in the bathroom? Can you tell us the benefits of the bath, soaking in the water?
Oh, yeah. So, yes, what I'm doing now is I have a question again was, if you could repeat it, I'm ready.
About the I wanted to see if you can explain the significance of the bath soaking in the water.
Okay, that's such a great, wonderful question. I've been bathing consciously. I've been taking sea salt consciously for over 16 years. So, and I say consciously is because, do you know, I always loved to take baths over shower, even since I was a youngster. Now, I grew up with a mother who believed, so let me just go back, and that'll help you understand the significance of bathing from an ancient perspective, an ancient African perspective. I grew up in a household where my mother believed in African spiritualities. Particularly, specifically, this was one was called the Santeria. which is really an offshoot of the Orishas or the Ifa belief system. And so in that belief system, when a child was sick or had negative energy or couldn't move ahead or seeming like negativity kept following them, that person, the parent of that person or a loved one would give them a spiritual bath. And for those, at those times, it would be oils. They were synthetic at that time, but they were oils, they were herbs, and they were a prayer or two. And you would take the bath and you would pour it over your head, the water, and you would submerge yourself in it, and you would use these different oils that had different qualities that brought up different emotions or feelings or properties. And so I learned a long time that when whatever was ailing you, I don't care if it was cancer to a cold, you could get in the bath and feel better. So as I started growing and discovering these wonderful healers like Sister Queen Afua with a book called Sacred Woman, and she talks about healing baths, the idea of sea salt. Now, I had known about sea salt as being a dancer. I used to dance for a company, and one thing the teacher told us was if you want to get rid of aches and pains, and listen to the metaphor, y'all, if you want to remove aches and pains from your body, take a sea salt bath. But also it removes aches and pains from your heart is what I discovered. The significance is what you're asking. What I discovered that it doesn't just heal you, cleanse you, and release toxins from your body on a physical level, but also from an auric level. I mean, what does that mean in real talk? It means that when you haven't gone into a place or went somewhere and somebody or walked down the street and you saw somebody that just something about them was so attractive, it was like they had a light around them. And you wanted to approach them. There was something about them. Everybody has had that experience, whether you consider yourself spiritual or not. Well, that's what the sea salt is doing. It's why that person looks that way is they're doing some significant amount of spiritual work, whether it's bath taking, chakra cleansing, affirmations, meditation. And so they're clearing what we accumulate just by walking, talking, and being out in the world every day. So the significance of a sea salt bath is to release everything that you may have contracted or attracted from the outside world, and it makes you new again. It's actually like the term of being born again each day anew. It is the holy water that if we were Christians would remove to keep the devil away in a sense, and devil in this sense metaphor for all negativity. So that's really the significance, and it's so relaxing. Ooh, it's so relaxing. So
and
that's the other point.
How often would you recommend it?
Good question. I really do. I recommend doing it. Now, maybe we should ask how often do I do it? Because I do it every single day. So I do it every single day. But, I mean, I think that if a person took a bath every 3 times a week, I'll say 3 to 4 times a week, that is sufficient. And let me tell you another thing, so because I can even answer that question in a better way. Depending on what you're going through, some people need more baths. And let's say you're going through a divorce, or you did just have an abortion, or you had a miscarriage, or your womb was removed, or you lost a family member, right, or you're healing. You're going to take more baths. Baths should be taken as your spirit calls, as your spirit needs it. So I say that you should always at least take a bath once a week, because that's a maintenance bath is what I like to call those. When you're taking a bath more often and you're working on something. Also, you don't need to just take a bath when you're dealing with a crisis. You can also take a bath when you want to bring love into your life. You can take a bath to make sure that you continue to attract love or prosperity or abundance. You want that job. You want to start that business. You want to build your email list. I mean, it could be everyday things. So taking a bath is really essential to do once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week. In my case, 7 days a week, because it's become part of my ritual. If I brush my teeth every day, for me, why not take a bath every day as well? So it's a daily ritual for me. So it depends on the person.
Yes, and how long are you staying in the bath?
Now, I stay in the bath. Now, again, y'all, like I say, don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. 7 days is a lot, so you don't have to do that. You get there. I mean, 16 years, of course. I can stay in the bath easily. the longest that I've probably stayed is maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Oh,
But,
wow.
yeah, that's a long time. Well, you're like, what is she doing up in the bathroom? But I'm doing a lot of affirmations, but that's when I'm really wanting something. Normally, for me, I stay in 1 hour. That's standard. So let me tell you what I would suggest, because I do work from home. I do have my own company, so my own business, so it's a little, I can do that. I would say at least, or the max, 30 minutes, but at least 15. So 30 minutes is excellent. 15 minutes is enough to get things started. So between 15 and 30 minutes, yes.
Okay, that's a good time. And how much sea salt?
Great question, because people ask me that all the time. First of all, again, it depends on what you're going through, what your needs are, while you're taking the bath. But I would say that anyone could start, except for if you have high blood pressure. I want to make sure I say that this disclaimer is if you have high blood pressure or edema, where you have swelling, you do not want to take a sea salt bath. Do not. You can take a bath. Don't put the salt in. But if you don't have those things, I would start with a half a cup. For some can actually start with a cup, and then I would build from there. I mean, me, I don't even measure. I probably do 7 cups, girl. Don't do 7 cups, y'all. Don't do it. But yeah, I probably easily can do 7 cups easily. Like, yeah, I'm sure easily. So, but I got to that point. Don't start there, because what some of the results I should let people know is, if you do too much too fast, you'll become kind of dizzy, or you'll feel drained instead of very uplifted. You'll feel the opposite. You'll feel drained, and you won't die, especially if you are pretty, okay, healthy. What you will feel is you'll have to get used to having more salt. So I would start off with a cup, a half a cup to a cup to your bath of water.
And what is your general go-to herbs for any womb issues? I know there's different herbs for different things, but what is like a general go-to herb for you?
Okay. So I do have a combination of 6 herbs. I'm going to give you 3 of the herbs, because I'll give you 3 of the 6 herbs that I do, and I'll tell you why. So one of the herbs I've been taking for years is red raspberry leaf.
Yes.
And that's a great herb. It actually is good, especially, too, if you're pregnant and carrying. So it actually is very nourishing to the herb. Dandelion is another herb that I use. It actually tones the uterus. So red raspberry leaf is actually nourishing to the uterus. Excuse me, I meant to say womb, uterus. Dandelion actually tones the uterus. It's also filled with vitamins and minerals also. And another one is red clover. So red raspberry, red clover, very good blood cleansers as well. And a lot of times the diseases that we have really are kind of blood diseases, whether we know it or not. And that goes not just blood as a blood that bleeds, physical blood, but even blood as a connection to our mothers and our mothers and our mothers' womb. So any kind of red herbs are very blood cleansing. And if you're having womb issues, you want to really deal with cleaning the blood.
Yes. Okay. So that is some really good information. What would you say? I'm sure you get this, because I get this a lot. Women who come to me after they've had a hysterectomy and say, "Oh, I wish I would have knew you before," and they have anger and regret. Like, I mean, it's done. What's done is done. There's nothing you can do. You can't go backwards. All you can do is go forward. So what advice do you have for women who may be on the line or who may hear this call later who have already had a hysterectomy?
Yeah. So, I mean, great advice. What you said, what's done is done. I think that's really important. But I'll even go a little further. Everything happens for a good reason. And I'm going to say it again. Everything happens for a good reason. Just because you don't have the physical womb, the uterus anymore, doesn't mean you don't have what really makes the uterus so special for a woman. So what makes the uterus so special for a woman from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective? It is the fact that it is the creative part of ourselves. It is what creates. It creates ideas, thoughts, our divine purpose, the work we want, the job, the businesses, the lovers. And so when it's being removed, the energy of that as a creator still exists. So the idea is, so we remove the womb, in order to stop bleeding too much or to stop creating the fibroid tumors, to live a life again. But we didn't stop or deal with the fact of how did the womb get in that condition in the first place. So even though the womb is removed, you still have the opportunity to do the healing work, to get in touch with that divine intuition, that voice that tells you which way to go, when to go, how to go, where not to go. And so that's a beautiful opportunity that they can't take that physical part away from you and you've lost that creative part, because that's what it does. It's more important of what it does. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this, I mean, we've heard of, phantom pains where people in wars have had their legs amputated, at least half their legs, but they can still feel the pain as if the leg was there. They can still feel it. So life is amazingly spiritual. It's even like me, I can speak of that. Like I'm going through the next change of life. I've passed the having my menstruation. I've passed the being childbearing age. I've passed the having a child and going through labor and delivery. I'm now going into menopause. Mm-hmm. So my eggs are done, y'all. I'm not having any more babies. But does that make me less of a woman? Because we don't want you to be so defined by the womb as that's your womanness or your womanhood. It doesn't make me less of a woman because I can't give birth physically. So same kind of thing with having no womb. I'm a woman because I can continually give birth through ideas and thoughts, and even, helping other people to give birth is what you now do. So your job on this earth as a woman is not over because your womb has been removed. It's really just beginning, and it's a great opportunity to really look at that in a deeper way and start living again. So, yeah, that's what I believe.
And I know that we have infertility as an issue. I wanted to talk about another subject that nobody really talks about is reoccurring miscarriages. I have a few women that keep on having miscarriages. There's different reasons for that. So what do you say to women who continually have miscarriages?
Yeah, so let's think about the word miscarry, right? It means I tried to carry something, but I dropped it. Let's look at that. I was carrying it, but I lost it. I couldn't hold on to it. Look at it and really did. Now, this particular work, I really read this in the book by Queen Afua called Overcoming an Angry Vagina. And the way she put it was just really amazing. And she I'm paraphrasing for sure, but she really talked about this idea of it was our own belief that we couldn't carry it to the finish line. So, but think about it, and this is not me talking now. Think about it, everything is metaphoric, right? Think about it in a metaphoric way. What in our life do we believe that we can't complete? And maybe that comes from, you never start. You started things, you never finish it. Maybe that voice of your parent or your loved one, supposed to be, right, kept telling you that you never finish anything, or that you've had disappointments where you've tried really hard to do something, but always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of feeling. So you start believing that you can't complete something. So it's a lot to do with psychologically, how you're feeling about what you can and cannot complete. So once you go back and do the mental work, that whoever said you can't complete things, whoever said you never complete things, they're wrong. And that was then, but this is now. And so that changing of the mind will actually allow you to really go full term with having a baby. And there's a lot of things I do in my practice to help women do that. And some of them are not direct like you would think. It's indirect, but they really are exercises that help a lot. So, yeah, so that's what I think.
Okay, and I want to tell the new callers who just called in, you can go to theblackberrybeauty.com to find out about this secret that nobody talks about, is abortions. So a lot of women are getting abortions, using them as birth control, the plan A, B, all these different things. How do you heal from abortions?
Well, that's such a great question. And so let's go back, because you said some powerful stuff. let's talk about this idea. Like you said, a lot of women are using abortions as birth control, or like you said, oops, well, I don't have to worry about that, girl. Go down to the clinic. The fact that we tell each other, or that our first instinct is that we can't live a full life by giving birth. I mean, let's just think about that. What we're saying is, because for me, hindsight is 20/20. You know, I had abortions when I was younger. Would I suggest to any other woman to have an abortion? I would not, to be honest with you, because I start thinking, let's be compassionate. So when a woman finds herself pregnant and is contemplating getting an abortion, she should ask herself why, and really write down on a piece of paper all the reasons why she thinks she cannot keep the baby. Now, usually, I bet if 1,000 women created this list, I bet the list would be almost identical with the reasons of why they think they should have abortion. Let's talk about. So they say, financially, I can't afford one. They say, I'm alone and the baby's father doesn't want to be a part. They say, I'm not in a good situation, a living situation, therefore I can't bring a child in a situation that is not good or negative. Like, some people really don't even have a place to maybe even live, right? Let me tell you another one. Different economic status, too, will have different reasons. Other ones might be, I have a career and I want to put that first. I'm in school trying to get my degree, and this is going to hold my life back. A child will hold me back. You know, I won't be able to create or complete my goals. So, you know, go through the list and be honest. Let it spill out all the reasons why you think you want one. And then look in the mirror and look at that person looking back at you and say, that person survived, which is you. We're talking to the person in the mirror. That person, in some cases, thrived. That person is here with all those same circumstances. If I could make it, so can this child. So I think that, you know, my advice would be, stop believing that you can't do it. You know what it is? We're afraid of the unseen. We don't know how we're going to take care of it, but that's where, when we have a great spiritual base, when we've done the spiritual work, we don't worry about the how. It's interesting. I love the term you use, or the phrase you use, the secret. And it's interesting that that's what the secret talks about. Don't worry about the how. Just ask for what you want. So now, how would you, let's turn that to positive. So you're pregnant, and you've got all these circumstances that you made the list of, but how can you turn it around? You can say, children bring blessings. Babies bring blessings. Yeah. That the baby was meant to be here because the baby has his own karma. That the baby chose me without the job or the house or the spouse. So the baby must know that the mission is to still be here. That the baby could be the next so-and-so or so-and-so. So for all the list, everything on the list that you think is legit, there's so many people face that and way worse. And had our ancestors aborted all of us, I mean, we wouldn't even be here to bring forth our lineage. So it's an opportunity to watch yourself in a child way. It's a great opportunity. So I think, like, now, like, would I? No. But I wouldn't be against it. If anyone decided to have one, I would love you. And now let me answer that question. What if you decided to have one? What if you already have one? Number one, don't feel guilty. I know it's easier said than done. Don't feel bad. You did what you had to do, considering your circumstances. You thought it was the right thing. You were afraid. You had to make a decision, and you made it. So the other thing is, understand that the child, again, decided to come in even for the 2 weeks or the 6 months or the 3 months that you carried it. That the spirit of the child knew that it was a karmic agreement, that they knew they were coming through you to only be here for 6 months or less. And what spirit tells me is all the time is that, you know, the child, a lot of times as souls, this is what I believe, as we come back, some of us done a great amount of work on this earth. We've helped, and our karma is to come back, but maybe for 2 months. What we needed to learn, we just needed 2 more months to learn it, and we needed to learn it in that womb. So you don't know the reasons for why the abortion happened, but it's higher than you think. And the last piece of advice on abortion is decide. I would say don't do it again because I did it twice, but my thing would be decide to do it differently next time. Because there was a point in anyone before we got to being pregnant and needed to have or decided to have an abortion, there were some things that was going on that told us that partner was not the one. My life right now is not in order, so I should not be in relationships when I know that the result could be this. And ask yourself why. Don't make yourself feel bad. And then really do the work so that you never have to be in a situation like that where you have to make that decision. You can live a life that you're not making decisions about having an abortion or not in a way that you don't have to make that decision. So that's what I said.
Okay. Well, I am going to unmute the lines here and see if anybody has a question for Sister Nubia. Everybody is unmuted, so you can speak.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you for the information. Let's have a really, really quick question. Again, thank you so much for the information. Have you guys heard that the older the woman gets, the higher the incidences of her having twin babies?
You said the what? The older you get?
The older she gets, and then she becomes pregnant, then the higher the incidences of her having twins.
Yes, I have, because I was trying to have twins, but I didn't have any. But, I was learning that over 40, you're more likely to have twins, and also if you have that extra body fat. I think it's like that's two things that I researched when I was trying to create twins. But, hey, the Creator knew I couldn't handle two at once. But
okay.
So, Sister Nubia, do you have any answers for that? Oh, wait, accident. Okay, you can go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to know, Sister, are you trying or are you wanting to have twins? Is that why you asked the question?
No, I'm not trying at this time. I was just wondering through other conversations that I've had with other people that are over 40 and are trying.
I got you. That's good. You know what I say? I say that it's such a blessing to get pregnant. Remember how when we used to get pregnant and we used to talk to our elders and we used to say, I want a girl or I want a boy. And the elders say, just want a healthy baby. Just wish for a healthy baby. I feel like to just get a healthy baby is a blessing in itself. The sex, the amount of sexes that we will be blessed with is, again, what Sister you said, it's really up to the universe. And I would just really put out the vibration of a healthy baby and let the universe do the rest. That's just something that came to me. And like you said, Sister, the universe already let you know you couldn't handle it. So if you're trying to get something and you're not getting it, maybe it's not for you, but there's something perfect for you. And so just some food.
The question is, when you were going over the herbs, I didn't get the first one you said.
Okay, sure. So it's red, R-E-D, and raspberry, R-A-S-P, berry, B-E-R-R-Y. I'll give you all three just in case, and I do it in the leaf form. There's also dandelion, D-A-N, D-E-L-I-O-N, and the third one, leaf form as well, and the third one is red clover, C-L-O-V-E-R.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any other questions? Your line is unmuted now.
Selling my products and services for 7 years, almost going 8, but I've actually been doing the work of being a vegan, vegetarian, metaphysics, and courses that were not online, things I would do in person. I worked at the Unified Oakland School District doing rites of passage programs, creating after-school programs, so definitely doing a lot of programs for over, my daughter is 19, so I say about 19 years. So, but what I'm currently doing right now is, and so because of that, I've learned a lot. I said all that to say I've learned a lot. And there's a lot of times when I'm walking down the street or in a supermarket, at an event, or even on YouTube, people will ask me, how do you get your skin to glow like that? Or how are you almost 50? Oh, thank you, sweetie. Or you're almost 50 and you look so young. You know, how do you do that? Or you're a raw foodist for 7 years. How have you done that? Or or the question about baths, or deeper into the herbs, or what do you do, and what is yoga? What is womb yoga, and what is that, and what does it do? So our is going to start January 6th, 2017, so next year. It's called Blackberry Beauty Secrets, How to Glow from Head to Toe Naturally. And it's a 6-week virtual intensive, virtual course program. So anywhere in the world, wherever you are, you can join it. And it's an amazing program because I'm going to tell all my Blackberry Beauty secrets, but you know me, it's going to be through one of the secrets is, and I'll just tell you right now, is a lot of that glow, a lot of that youthfulness comes from healing those abandonment issues and dealing with your sexual issues, whether you've been violated, molested, physically violated, raped, or any of those things, told you were not enough, felt unattractive, whatever that is. So I'm going to show you all those things that you expect. So think about it this way. 6 weeks, like a course in college, but the difference is you actually want to be there, and you're learning about how to be beautiful from head to toe, inside and out, using natural remedies, and then dealing with the deeper emotional issues of where beauty really lies is within. So all of that, $627, but you will go away with stuff, healing the womb, getting rid of fibroid tumors, what herbs to take, the diseases, the herpes, the better relationship, how to have one, getting all of it is in this course. So again, it's called Blackberry Beauty Secrets, How to Glow from Head to Toe, and it's on my website at www.the, which is THE Blackberry, BERRY, beauty.com. When you think of my website, just think of the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's where I got the Blackberry Beauty, blackberrybeauty.com. There you go. So that's what's going on.
Okay, I have one I want to ask you. I have a little struggle with this raw food thing. How do you, I mean, it goes good for me for a while, but I still get that craving for like some fried egg rolls and stuff. Like, how do you counter the fried, it's the oil, you know, the craving, like how do you deal with these cravings? Because I know that when you do raw foods, your energy is off the chain. I mean, when I did this raw food fast with Ra, and I started to hear people's thoughts, and I was like, oh, this is just too much. And everyone was, oh, what you eat? And I was like, I didn't want to do that. It was just too much because I'm in a salon doing nails, and I can just, all this stuff is bombarded to me. So there are, you know, benefits. And I just want to know, how do you deal with, you know, the transition?
Yeah, it's a big, like, first of all, definitely going to be spending a good amount of time teaching about raw foods and really how I do it. So let me say this, because you know me, it's going to be more than just what people think. For me, because I battled too, you know, 7 years. I mean, I would eat a cooked meal here and there, and I would wonder why. I mean, I was dealing with a few things. Why was I craving the food? What did food represent to me in my life? What did I use food for? Food was everything, but when I wasn't feeling fulfilled, when I wasn't truly living the life that I really wanted to live, wait, that's just one, because maybe somebody could say, well, I am. Okay, this is another thing. When I was not speaking my truth, when I really wanted something else, like to be married and not single, or to really send my message out in a big way but wasn't able to get those things, I noticed that I used food instead to fulfill, to be full, instead of saying what I wanted, asking for what I wanted, or at least admitting and being honest with myself of what I wanted. So I realized that when I noticed that food was attached to definitely emotions, but the way that I've always dealt with my emotions. So what happens is, why do you go back? Why does that craving come on? The craving is the old self that says, when I'm feeling a certain way, this is how I've always handled it. Let me get that egg roll. Let me have that hamburger. Let me do that. That's how you handle it. So the first thing is understanding the connection to why you eat, period. Don't only talk about why you eat raw foods. Why do you eat? And then when I started asking, do I eat because I'm hungry every time, or am I eating for other reasons? And so once I just started exploring that, which I'm going to be teaching in the next January intensive, I could just, the stuff after that is amazing. But start with the mental, and every time before you sit before a meal, a food, a plate, say, am I hungry? Ask that every single time. And then if you say yes, then ask the second question, what am I really hungry for? What am I really hungry for? Change the game. But also I talk about fasting because that kind of helps too, periodic fasting. I talk about not over-detoxing, the balance. We talk about exercise because it's holistic. You can't just change your diet, but you're living the same life. So So, so that's how I've been successful, and there's no turning back for me. There's no turning back for me. I know this.
That is lovely. So we're going to end this call.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know, what did you think about this video?